Hey everyone, Nomad Master here. Next on the list at number 9 is Somerville Place. It has an area rank of 72 and a height limit of 9 floors from the house level. So keep in mind this is a very dangerous settlement, so you should be at a higher level when you come to settle here. Upon discovering Somerville Place, you want to talk to the dad. There's also 2 kids here. So once you talk to the dad, he'll give you some sort of quest to help you defend their settlement or get rid of a problem. So once you complete that quest, then you can unlock the workbench. So I'm going to fast forward real quick and complete it real fast. Okay, so now that we have access to the workbench, I can show you how big the settlement actually is. So notice that the only main obstacle here is the large pre-war structure, which is the house. And that's not too bad because this settlement is so large. You pretty much have the freedom to build all over. So there's lots of trees here, so you can scrap to get lots of wood. And that is the main thing you're going to get here when you scrap all the stuff. And keep in mind, this is located in the swamp, so it's always going to be rainy here, and it's relatively dangerous. So just be careful of the death claws that spawn nearby. I'll point out where they come from in a little bit. And this is also the closest settlement to the glowing sea. So there's a lot of hilly terrain in this settlement, and players that aren't really good at building on hilly terrain should probably practice that in a safer settlement first before you attempt to build here. Once you get really good at building on hilly terrain, you really appreciate the size of the settlement. So I know that a lot of creatures can spawn inside of your settlement, but I still build walls here just to keep out anything that's wandering around, like the death claws that come from this area here. This corner leads you into the glowing sea, and that's where the death claws typically spawn, so just be wary of the really high corner. Now, one thing that's cool is you do have one of these really big permanent trees here that I'm walking right past, and there's another one that holds the swing, so you can decorate those with lights or build stuff on them. And then down over here in the corner, there's actually what looks like no water access. You're like, oh shoot, man, it sucks that I'm right next to the swamp and there's no water access. But if you look really closely, there's actually a little puddle of water. And you can actually fit one water purifier there if you finesse it just right. It kind of has to hang outside of the build zone. So I'm going to show you how you do that real quick. So the key to placing this thing is to kind of place it at an angle. You're not going to want to do it straight on. You pretty much, the first time you do this, you'll kind of get the hang of it. But as you can see, it lights up yellow, and then there you go. You can then just connect it to power, and it gives you 10 water to your settlement. So obviously you can do different tricks to duplicate this around your settlement, but I typically like to build walls here, so I don't always use this, but it is cool to note that you can do it. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at the house and then the front of the settlement as well. So over here we have the swing, which is a really cool feature in this settlement. Obviously, not a lot of settlements come with a swing. Unfortunately, you cannot swing on it, but it is pretty cool. It's also got a little farm here, so they mainly farm corn. So that is pretty handy for lower level players if you do dare to come here. And then inside the house, this is probably the hardest part of the settlement because the house is very damaged, and it's hard to repair this roof with pieces that match because the angles are pretty steep. So there is a way to kind of somewhat repair it though with floor pieces, and then you can use this area without having rain come down on you. But this is pretty much where the 3 settlers live. And there's not too much stuff in here that's unique. It's definitely something that you can use later though. So this is the farm area. Obviously I just delete all of this stuff because this settlement is so hilly. The farm's a nice flat area, so I just use it to build, and I move the farm somewhere else. This is another interesting feature in the settlement that you can actually get rid of, which is the campfire. I think it's actually pretty cool, so I usually just leave it there. And then down over here, notice that your closest settlement is Murkwater, which is right out there in the middle of the swamp. So it's very dangerous to walk over to Murkwater, but if you gotta go somewhere, that's the closest place to safety. And then that pretty much concludes my video for today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.